Chess improvement is a slow and lengthy process. However, there are some things we can do in order to speed it up. So in this video, I'm going to give you 12 habits that you need in order to speed up your chess improvement. So first and foremost, what you need to do is that you need to realize that some people analyze their games in a completely wrong way. And not only you need to analyze your games, you also need to analyze them the right way, because a lot of people, what they do is that, let's say they are trying to analyze the position on the screen right now. They're looking at all the top moves on the computer. Okay, bishop f6 is okay, e3 is okay, queen c2 is okay, and all of a sudden they see that, okay, my opponent has made an inaccuracy with g6. He should have played h6 instead. But okay, then let me go back and look at some other lines. But the thing is, they skip over so many very important details. They don't really know how to analyze their games. Now, I have a video on how you should analyze your games, and you should definitely check that video out after you're done watching this one. But the thing is, you need to sometimes just close the engine. So let me try to close it. Let me close the eval bar as well. Sometimes you just need to close the engine, you need to close the evaluation bar, and you just need to calculate. You need to look at the position. Like, let's say you're looking at this position and your opponent takes on c4. Okay, what are my options? Do I take here? Well, I can't take because my queen is hanging. If I take here on c4, there's a fork. So what do I do in a position like this? And you need to slow down, you need to turn the engine off, and you need to calculate all the lines. You need to calculate yourself, because whenever you have the evaluation bar enabled and when you have the engine enabled and you're just going through the moves, you have to understand that no work is being done here. You're just being fed moves by the computer, and you're not really looking to understand why these moves are played. So what you need to do is sometimes you just got to close the engine and you just got to calculate yourself. You can close the engine but keep the evaluation bar open, for example, and if there is a huge swing in the evaluation, then you should try to figure out, okay, what's going on here? What do I do? But the problem is that most people just go through the game, they look at the engine, they look at all the best moves on the screen. It's basically what I said earlier. No work is being done here. So what you need to do, you need to make sure that you train your calculation, and you need to make sure you look for ideas. You look for positional nuances. You look for weak squares. You look for the fact that your opponent is struggling to develop. How can we continue to inhibit our opponent's development so he doesn't get his pieces out? These are the types of things that you need to look for from your analysis, and these are the types of ideas that you have to extract from your analysis. You don't want to just go through the motion. Okay, look at the best moves. What are the best moves in this position? Okay, h4 is the best move, and then bishop g2 is the second best move, rook a d1. You don't want to think like that. You want to think, okay, what is my plan here? I want to control these two pawn breaks. I want to make sure this bishop stays undeveloped. And then if this bishop stays undeveloped, then this rook will stay undeveloped also. So you need to look for ideas like this instead of trying to just go through the motions and simply look at the engine and simply read the engine moves. That's not going to work. No work is being done when you do that. Habit number 2 is going to be, don't focus too much on openings, because a lot of people only study openings and don't really do anything else. For example, some people memorize Najdorf theory. This is the Sicilian Najdorf, and they memorize even this far. This is like totally normal for some people, going 17, 18, 19, 20 moves ahead. You don't need to study this much in the opening. You need to understand the ideas. You need to practice your calculation. You need to practice your positional understanding of the position, so you don't have to memorize. Instead of memorizing, then you're going to be able to figure out the moves on your own. So you don't want to focus and study too much opening theory. What you want to do instead is focus on positional ideas, focus on your calculation, and focus on other aspects of your game. Don't memorize 20 moves of opening theory expecting that you will get that line, and even if you get it, you will win that line. And don't jump from opening to opening because you're not winning in one specific opening either. So you have to balance it. You have to balance opening work with other things as well. You don't want to focus too much on openings. That's gonna keep you plateaued for a long time. Habit number 3 is going to be always train your tactics and calculation. Tactics and calculation are two of the most important skills in chess, and you need to train them consistently, and you need to train them at increasing difficulties. So for example, this puzzle right here is very easy. You go queen h3, bishop h4, and then queen to g4 checkmate. A very simple puzzle. And training your tactics and calculation is like going to the gym. You know, you go to the gym, you lift weights, you go back home, you rest, you eat well, and then you come back and you lift heavier weights again. So training your tactics and calculation is the exact same way. You do these puzzles, you do a lot of them, and then you rest, let your brain store those memories and let your brain like create new neurons so it actually learns these patterns, and then you come back and you can do harder and harder patterns. So you increase the difficulty over time. If you do this consistently, you will definitely get better very quickly. Habit number 4 is going to be not being an engine Andy. So what is an engine Andy? So engine Andy is a type of person who only looks at the engine, doesn't care about anything else, doesn't care about all the nuances in the position, doesn't care about all the positional details, looks at the position, looks at all the top moves like bishop to g4, knight e7, knight h6, looks at all the best moves and makes his conclusion based off what the engine says. And you gotta remember this, engine is a tool. It's not something that you have to just read, and it's not something that you should read and memorize. It is a tool that should be used to improve your positional understanding. It should be used to improve your pattern recognition by showing you different patterns. But that doesn't mean that you just read the engine lines like it's a book. Like you don't follow the engine. Okay, let's say bishop to g4, knight c3, queen d6. Like what is queen d6? Like how do you look at this position and your first intuition is queen d6? Like come on, you have to be practical. It's not about just looking at what the engine says, it's about being practical, and it's about extracting practical values out of your analysis. So don't trust the engine entirely, don't distrust it either, but use it as a tool that is meant to be used to develop your skills. Don't be like, oh, computer says bishop g4, knight c3, and queen d6, and that's just it. No, that's not it. You have to look at why each move is a good move in the position. You have to look at the practicality of the moves as well. Habit number 5 is going to be never falling for those thinking system videos or those watch this and your elo will improve by 200 videos. If anybody is promising you quick improvement in chess, watch this video and your elo will increase by 500 points or something like that. You have to remember it's a lie. It does not work. It does not work like that because chess in essence is a very, very concrete game. You have to calculate, you have to come up with ideas, you have to find small nuances and differences between move orders, and you have to calculate. The thing is, if you don't calculate and you just go by systems, it's not gonna work. Like trust me, if it was possible, it would have been done already. There's no thinking system that will improve your chess skills. It is a very, very concrete game, and you have to calculate as much as possible. You have to improve your calculation. So a lot of people, they sort of fall into this trap of thinking systems or watch this video or get rich quick schemes. You don't want to do that. It doesn't work, and the only thing it does is that it takes your focus away from the things that actually matter when you're trying to improve at chess. Habit number 6 is to stop when you get tilted. And this sounds simple, but it's actually one of the most difficult things for people to do. Like you lose some games, let's say you fall into the scholar's mate. And the thing is that you get tilted in these types of situations. And when you get tilted and you realize that you're not really playing good chess, you realize that you're not playing to the best of your abilities, sometimes it's best to just simply stop playing. And it's really difficult to do that because it requires a lot of discipline to stop, because you want to continuously just get your elo back and okay, let me try one more game, and then you lose another one, and let me try one more game, and all of a sudden it becomes a spiral. So one of the most important habits is that when you get tilted, you need to stop immediately. You can feel yourself too, like you realize you're getting tilted, try to take a deep breath and just stop playing the game for a while. Do puzzles instead, do something else if you still want to engage with chess, but stop playing when you get tilted. It's just gonna cost you more elo, it's just gonna bleed out your elo points. So you don't wanna do that. Stop when you get tilted. Habit number 7 is going to be focus on skills rather than the rating. So the thing is, a lot of people get caught up with their rating. Let's say they're like a 1200 level player and they want to get to 1300. Yes, okay, it's good that you want to improve, but the thing is, don't fixate on your rating. Focus on skills. Focus on your positional understanding. Focus on playing good chess. Focus on attacking ideas. Focus on pawn structures. Focus on calculation. Focus on tactics. There's so many things that you can do to improve your game. Focus on skills rather than the actual number, because then you're going to get attached to that number. And you don't want to do that because it's not helpful to you whatsoever. It gives people a lot of anxiety. They don't want to lose their rating. But the thing is, that's how chess works. Sometimes you're going to lose your rating. Sometimes you're going to gain your rating. So what you need to do is focus on skills instead. Habit number 8 is going to be not focusing on everything at the same time. So a lot of people want to do their openings for 1 hour, then they want to do middle game studies for another hour, then 2 hours of end games, and then you got to do your tactics, of course, for another 30 minutes. There are too many things in chess at once, and if you try to work on everything at the same time, you're not going to get better at anything. So what you should do instead is you should focus on one thing at a time, one main thing, and let's say you give that one thing 80% of your effort, and then maybe you have like 2 other things, 2 basic things that you are focusing on also, and maybe you give those 10% of your effort each. But you shouldn't focus on every single thing at the same time. So for example, if you are a beginner, let's say you're under 1,000, I believe that 80% of your focus should be on calculation and tactics, and the other 20% should be split between opening basics and also middle game basics as well. So basically strategy and so on. But you shouldn't work on like everything at the same time, and you definitely shouldn't give every single skill the same amount of attention at the same time, because you're not going to get better at everything at the same time. You need to pick one thing and work on that one thing and then move on to the other thing. So keep that in mind. Don't focus on everything at the same time. Focus on a couple of things and try to get as good at those as possible. Habit number 9 is going to be focusing on what matters. So I was just talking about how you shouldn't focus on everything at the same time, but you also shouldn't focus on things that you're not getting in your games. So for example, let's say you're getting this type of position in every game, you want to work on this type of position instead. There's no need for you to work on theoretical endgames if you are an 800 level player. Work on positions that you're getting in your games and figure out how to improve those positions. Don't focus on things that are not really relevant for your level. Because if you are a 600 level player and you're studying like Lucina and Philidor endgames, you're never going to get Lucina and Philidor endgame, so why do you bother even studying those? You're going to get them like years down the road when you actually get better at the game and when your opponents also get better, and that's when you need to focus on more like really theoretical endgames. But if you don't get them in your games, you don't need to focus on them. So focus on what matters at your level. Habit number 10 is going to be not getting discouraged when you hit a plateau. So a lot of people, they hit a plateau at any level and they get super discouraged because, okay, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to keep improving. But the thing is that in chess, improvement is not linear. If you study for an hour, you're not just going to get 50 points of elo. That's not how it works. And I believe Fabiano Caruana has a great saying about this. I don't remember the exact quote. I'm going to put it up on the screen, but it goes something like this. Sometimes you work a lot and your work doesn't really pay off, but then all of it comes together at some point. So you work a lot and the results are not going to show, but at some point all of that work is going to show up all at once. All that information that you've been gathering for weeks or months, it's all going to come together very quickly. And when I say quickly, I mean in a short time frame. Habit number 11 is so obvious, but somehow people get this wrong anyways, and it's to get good sleep. Like, that's like really it. You need to get good sleep because your brain stores information when you sleep. There are so many people and so many instances that I've heard of people staying up all night in order to study chess. That is one of the worst things, one of the absolute worst things you can do for improvement is pull all-nighters. Because you think that you're studying, you're being productive, but the thing is, your improvement is happening when your brain stores information, when your brain actually creates new neurons. And that happens in your sleep, not when you're awake. So make sure to get good sleep. I know it sounds obvious. I know at least some of you have pulled all-nighters before. I know I have done it. Yeah, to my shame, I have pulled all-nighters studying chess. But then I realized, no, this is not the right way to do it. It's very unhealthy, first and foremost. And secondly, it's going to get you very subpar results. So make sure you get good sleep. And I don't want to hear, I was studying chess all night. No, go to sleep. And then once you wake up, then you can study. But get good sleep, please. And habit number 12, the most important habit of all, is just simply having fun. Like, it really does not need to be more complicated than that. For a lot of you, chess is a hobby. It's something you do for fun. So do it if you're having fun. If you want to improve at the game, make the process fun. Make studying fun. Set up your studies in a way that you're enjoying it when you're actually studying positions, when you're analyzing games. Try to enjoy the process as much as possible, because if you don't, and if you are only focused on improvement and you don't actually care about having fun, man, that's tough, because you're going to burn out. You're definitely going to burn out, and that can be applied to anything in life. I know it firsthand on this channel. Trust me, I know that it's very important to have fun and actually enjoy the process. A lot of people start playing chess for fun and then they get caught up trying to just improve. But man, like, just have fun. Like, sometimes you just gotta chill and relax. And the thing is, if you're bored of specific openings, like if you play the London system and you think that London system is boring, first of all, you are right, it is quite boring. Play something else, play a different opening, play Nimzo Larsen, play e4, play something else that makes the game fun. Do something else that keeps the process enjoyable. It really does not have to be any more complicated than that.